Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest today. We have Theresa Fersch, and Theresa is an author and an adventurer. She went across country, actually, she went to Spain. Sunrise in Spain is her book. When I saw this, and I've saved the article out of the newspaper, you appeared, read this. Where did you, I've got new glasses, reader glasses. What the heck does it say?
Let's see. Which one is it?
Well, never mind. I'll read it now. Okay, I've got it. Let me just see this thing. All right. These are temporary. Oh, God. When you have the cataract thing done, you don't know what's going to happen, and it can happen at any age. I'm like, oh. First one went great. Second one, not so good. Okay. I can't get used to this. You were at the Shrewsbury Public Library.
Yes.
Yes. How'd you like it over there?
Oh, my goodness. It was a beautiful library. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's all pretty new over there.
It's beautiful.
So first of all, Theresa, what on earth got into you to do this?
Oh, my goodness. It was a progression of things.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen overnight. But actually, my husband had hiked the Appalachian Trail the year before, in 2014. And when he came back, he was transformed. He was still the same loving and silly man I fell in love with, but he had this deeper love and appreciation for life, and he wanted to be a better person. And he told me, he was like, you have to do something amazing for yourself.
Did you go with him on the Appalachian Trail?
I did not,
You
no.
didn't?
I've hiked parts of it, but I've never done anything like that before.
Yeah.
And so I started looking for similar adventures, and the Appalachian Trail didn't speak to me the same way it did to Brian. But the Camino really called to me, and as soon as I heard about it, I started researching it, and I decided that was my way.
Sunrise in Spain. Finding the good life, hiking the Camino de Santiago. What is it? What is the Camino?
The Camino is a pilgrimage. It's over 1,000 years old,
Yeah.
and over 200,000 people hike it every year now. But it was originally a Christian pilgrimage. People did it for spiritual reasons, and in the past, when it started over 1,000 years ago, people would begin their pilgrimage wherever their front door was, and
Yeah.
they would walk to Santiago de Compostela, which is the end of the Camino, where supposedly the remains of St. James the Apostle lie. And so people come from all over the world to give witness to that.
Would that be a lot of our Catholic friends would want to go there?
Yes,
Okay.
a lot of Catholics do. People do it of all different religions, though, and now today only about a third of the people who hike it actually do it for spiritual reasons.
Really?
So a lot of
Oh,
people
okay.
just do it for the adventure.
Wow.
Some people do it because they're at a crossroads in their life and they're looking for answers,
Yeah.
and they find them on the Camino.
Where did you leave from, and what airport did you take off from?
I left from the Boston Logan Airport, where I met my very first hiking partner before I even left the country.
How did you know each? Did you just have?
There was a Facebook group online,
Oh,
and
okay.
we found each other online, and we found out we were at the terminal at the same time.
Right.
But anyway, I went from the Boston Logan Airport to Madrid, and then I took a train to Pamplona.
Were you alone at the time, or you had somebody with that?
I was alone, yes. I met people along the way who were
Yeah.
also heading to the Camino. We recognized each other because we had our backpacks on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long was it? Okay, you landed in where in Spain?
I landed in Madrid.
Okay. So how long did it take you, and how did you get there? By bus or what, to get to your destination?
So there's a train station. I'm trying to remember now. There's a train station from Madrid, and I took it to Pamplona. And then from Pamplona, I had a company that has a hostel specifically for pilgrims, and they picked me up and they brought me to their small town in Spain. They let me spend the night there. They gave me food, and in the morning they drove me over the border into France
What kind of
and
food?
dropped me off.
What did they give you?
Amazing food. Amazing food.
Any eggs and bread?
There was lamb and bread
Oh.
and some kind of lentil soup.
For
It was
breakfast?
amazing.
Really?
No, that was for dinner.
Okay.
And then for breakfast, I don't remember what breakfast was. I was so nervous.
At
It was a
Theresa, at
blur.
any point did you think, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into?
Oh.
I'm in Spain and I don't know what I'm doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. For the first 7 days, I didn't think I was going to make it. A couple times I cried myself to sleep at night, constantly asking myself, what am I doing here? Am I going to make it? What was I thinking? But eventually you reach some mental clarity and you feel very confident in yourself and you realize that you can do
That's
it.
it.
Yeah.
So you got there,
Yep.
and it was, where did you start? What was the starting point?
I started in a small town called Saint-Jean
Yeah.
in France, and it's right over the border, and I crossed over the Pyrenees Mountains into Spain.
You crossed, literally,
Yeah,
crossed
hiked
over.
over the Pyrenees Mountains into Spain.
Did you have to keep up with anybody, or could you go at your own pace?
No. So there's a very important saying in hiking that you have to hike your own hike, and I actually learned that very early on. I was trying to keep up with a friend of mine someone that I met,
Yeah.
and she was actually hiking much faster, and she was much stronger than me. And I realized that if I continued to try to keep up with her, I was probably going to injure myself.
Yeah.
So we had to say goodbye, which was very
So
sad.
you were alone?
You're never alone on the Camino. There are people everywhere, and I made friends every single day. I never felt alone. There was, on the 7th day, there were a few hours when I felt very, very alone, and it was difficult.
What about a medical emergency? What then?
There are pharmacies all along the way because...
Along the trail?
Oh yeah, because they know they've got people. They got injured people all the time.
Yeah.
So there are pharmacies all along the Camino. There's a great infrastructure for pilgrims across the entire country, and then when I had an emergency, I found a doctor who happened to be available at that time.
And you got him.
And I got him. Yeah.
This is about her personal account of the most exciting moments of her journey across the 500-mile Camino de Santiago pilgrimage. Boy, I don't think a lot of people have to be drugged to get on to do that. That's a long hike.
Yeah.
From Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, France.
Mm-hmm.
I say I'm part French. You get time. Over the Pyrenees Mountains. How many miles on the Pyrenees?
I think it's about 25 or 28.
Did you ever want to bike at any time?
No. So
No?
people think biking is easier. It's not.
No?
But people do bike the Camino. They do it in about a week.
And across Spain to the famous cathedral in Santiago de Compostela. So I said that right. Entering the trail with a practical perspective of her hiking journey, Theresa was skeptical of the transformative nature of the pilgrimage, which is often described in 3 phases. The breakdown and rebuilding of the pilgrim's body. It'll break you down all right if you're not ready.
Mm-hmm.
Mind, body, and soul. In that order. Now, before I go any further, how did you prepare physically for this monstrosity?
That's a fantastic question. So I did not prepare. What? I didn't prepare. So I'm an engineer. I sit at my desk 8 to 9 hours a day, and I have a 2-hour commute. So training wasn't really an option for me.
Do you have children
But
yet?
I don't have children,
Okay,
no.
right.
But it's important. This is a really important point, and I'm glad you pointed that out, because a lot of people think they're not physically in shape to hike the Camino, and I'm here to say that people of all abilities can do this. I did not consider myself a hiker, and I was still able to do it.
Is it hot, humid, or what?
It depends on the time of year. I went between May and June, and the last 4 days on the Camino, it was over 100 degrees. The first 4 days were 40 degrees.
How did you do that?
I think that was the biggest takeaway from my experience was that you can do pretty much anything. I mean,
You had food with you, right? Snacks?
Yep. You have food and snacks, and there's food all along the way. That's what's amazing about
And
the
bathrooms.
Camino.
You gotta have bathrooms.
Sometimes.
What are you saying? Go buy a rock?
I mean, if you're walking through, tens of miles of vineyards and wheat fields, there are not bathrooms.
Well, there's trees, right?
There are trees, yes. So you walk with your hiking family, and you just yell "baño," and you jump into the nearest tree, and they
Are
just
you serious?
yeah, serious, dead serious, and then they slow down just a little bit, and then you catch up with them, and it's
Yeah, but
it's,
I mean, okay, all right. I was
it's
gonna
a
say,
lifestyle choice.
Good thing I hope there's no poison ivy over there.
No.
Now, let me see. Where was I? All right. She immersed herself in the intangible and overwhelming gifts of the Camino, persevering through the numerous physical and mental challenges she encountered. Tell us about some of those challenges.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Well, so yeah, there are lots of challenges, but I think one of the first ones that I encountered was just dealing with the challenges of my body. Like, your body resists everything you're doing. By day 3, you're so beat up, and your body doesn't understand what you're doing, and it just wants you to stop, and
Did you
you're
have
in so
a
much pain.
sleeping bag that you could?
Yep, I had a sleeping bag.
And that's all you do? You slept
Yep.
on the trail?
Yes, there are hostels specifically for pilgrims. And
that
so
like a
we stay
cabin?
with other pilgrims. They're like dormitories.
Oh, cool.
They have lots of bunks.
And you don't know who you're in there with.
No, but the thing is, you meet most of the pilgrims pilgrims on the Camino as you're walking throughout the day.
Yeah.
So by the end of the day, half of these people feel like family.
I hope so.
It's a very loving and supportive
Yeah.
environment. But the
Yeah.
physical challenges were difficult. But eventually, after about a week or so, you start to feel more comfortable. And all of a sudden, those bodily problems you had aren't an issue anymore.
Yeah.
And then that's when you start asking yourself questions like, oh my God, am I going to make it? What was I thinking? And the mental challenge, I think, is harder than anything because people are so often overcome by fear, doubt, and laziness. And when you're on the Camino, you have to overcome all of that to keep going.
You think it's harder for a woman physically without getting into it, but it's harder for a girl?
No.
No.
Nope. No. In fact, I don't know if this is true, but I heard that 60% of the people on the Camino are single female hikers.
Women?
Yes.
60%.
It's considered one of the best places for women to hike, yes. Because there's such a great infrastructure along the way.
Any children there?
Lots of kids, yeah, lots of kids.
Little ones go
especially towards the end, closer to the end of the Camino, yeah, you'll see lots of kids.
Can people jump on at any point?
Yep.
Oh, I
point.
love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't have to kill yourself the whole way.
No, so actually there are many Camino routes. I did the Camino Frances, which was the most popular of the routes, but the last 60 miles, the last 100 kilometers of that is the official Camino that you need to get credit. So most people just do that section.
They do that.
And that's where it gets really busy. And that's when you see hordes of children and all kinds of people.
We are talking with, gonna be my new hero here, Theresa Fersch. I am amazed. Sunrise in Spain. That's why you're on the show. Sunrise in Spain, finding the good life, hiking the Camino de Santiago, 500 miles. How do they get a hold of your book?
My book is available on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle or in print. You can also go to my website, teresascamino.com, where I have access to my book. Also, lots of videos and pictures. I'm also a public speaker, and you can get access to my one of my recordings there.
So you took all the pictures that are in this book?
Yes, most of them, unless I was in it. Yes.
I love this. Now, is that you? Did somebody take those for you?
That was a friend of mine. We were arriving at our hostel for the night.
She has the stork's nest on the bell towers.
Yeah.
Here's oh my God. Well, there was one here. It looked like a church, a cathedral.
Yes, there are cathedrals. That's the Burgos Cathedral. It's gorgeous. There are cathedrals all along the way in Spain, and they're very warm and welcoming places, even for pilgrims.
Of all the places, Theresa, in the world to hike, what made you choose this one?
I loved that it was in Europe.
Yep.
I loved that it was in another country. I loved that it has so many places where you can stop along the way, so you don't have to carry a lot of food. You don't have to carry a lot of water. I knew that I would be sleeping in hostels every night.
Picture of a hostel, right?
Yes, there are lots of different hostels, and I liked that a lot of women hike it. That spoke to me.
Now, in a hostel, I'm looking at a bedroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it girls and girls and boys with boys?
So that particular picture you're looking at, that was a private hostel that I rented when I was sick. So generally you will stay in a room, they're usually bunks, and you will stay in a room with anywhere from 10 to 500 people.
Oh my God.
And it's usually male and female, it's usually co-ed, but some places they have separate rooms.
So this was a hospital room?
That was a hostel. That wasn't necessarily an outdoor
You were sick?
day.
What happened?
I ended up having 2 very large blisters on my feet that were ready to
Explode.
get infected.
Yeah.
And I also had a really bad stomach bug at the exact same time.
Oh, you didn't drink the water, did you?
No, it wasn't the water. No, it was not the water. But I think the big takeaway from this experience was the Camino is an extremely loving and supportive environment. And that low point in my experience when I was sick and injured was also my high point, because I was helped by the kindness of a complete stranger in that moment. I was completely lost. I didn't know what town I was in.
You're vulnerable too.
Yes.
You are dependent on their help.
At that point in time, I was completely vulnerable, and I had to rely on a complete stranger.
Yeah.
And you see that kind of support and love all across the Camino. People are all on their best behavior. They're all there with good intentions, and I've never seen anything like that anywhere else in the world.
Well, when you're in a room, what did you say, like a regular hostel room, how many beds?
It depends. Usually like 20 or 30.
Is it co-ed?
Most of them, yes. But you get used to it. The bathrooms are also co-ed. So there were times when I remember my third night, you know, I take a shower every night, and I took a shower and I opened the door and there was a man standing there with his clothes ready to go. And that was a little jarring at first, but after a while you get used to it. And then I came to miss it when I came home.
You missed
and
that?
I would wake up in the morning all by myself. I was like, where are all of my pilgrims?
Let me get this straight. So you were in a co-ed bathroom. You went to take a shower.
Yeah.
You opened the door. You had no clothes on.
No, I had a towel on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a guy standing there. Is he nude and ready to get
He
you?
was not nude. He was also American. But, you're in Europe, and they're very liberal with
Yeah, I know.
their bodies. But you get used to it. You get used to it. It's
So
not
he
a
was
big
standing
deal.
there kind of with a towel waiting to go in?
He was waiting to go in, yeah.
You didn't feel hurried, did you?
No. No.
What
And-
happens if somebody can't sleep? I mean, I don't know if I could sleep in a room with 15 people.
You bring earplugs and you learn to sleep. So I did not sleep the first 3 nights, and then the 4th night I passed out from sheer exhaustion. And I never had problems sleeping like that again.
Yeah.
You just learn, and like I said, you learn to love it. Like you know all these people because you've been walking with them all day.
What was the hardest part of the trail? What was the hardest?
The hardest part? That's
Yeah,
a
where you
really
thought,
good
geez, I
question.
really messed up on this one.
So the hardest part was when I had problems with my blisters and I had stomach problems, and my Camino friends and family who I had been walking with for 20 days moved on past me, and I was left behind. That was really hard for me. But it turns out my hiking partner at the time actually didn't. He went to the next town and waited for me.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't completely alone, and I didn't have to start all over with my friends. But that was a difficult time for me.
Yeah, feeling abandoned,
and-
you know?
Yeah, and it wasn't so much a feeling of abandonment, but it was a feeling of being completely lost.
Yeah.
And my plans changed, and I learned on the Camino, you can have a plan, but it doesn't mean you're going to stick to it.
Well, what did they do for you? You had a stomach problem. I got the blister part, but I can't imagine having a stomach problem in a strange land with strangers around me.
Yeah.
What did they do for you? Was there a doctor there?
No, the stomach bug I got in the middle of the night, and I just had to wait it out. But like I said, this complete stranger named Marco, I met him once the night before, said hi to him. He actually stayed behind, even though in the morning pilgrims get up and move on, and if you're sick or injured, you stay behind.
Yeah.
He actually stayed behind and took care of me, and he got me, he rented me a room in another hostel, so I could go and have another day, basically to be sick in private.
What did you do? Drink all the
And-
water to get this out of you? or-
Yeah, so he forced me to drink water every now and then. He
Oh,
brought
food.
me food. He brought me food, and when I got to the hotel room and he checked me in, he had a map where he drew all the places that a pilgrim would need on the map, because I didn't even know what town I was in at the time.
But if you needed a doctor, Theresa.
They have doctors along the way. The night before, when I was having problems with my feet, I had just gotten in for the night, and I was sitting on my bed, and I unwrapped my feet, and I could tell, I was like, this is really bad. And so my Camino friends came around me, and I went to the shower, and I cried in the shower. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I
Yeah,
can't walk
sure,
anymore.
yeah.
This is a problem. When I came out of the shower, one of my Camino friends came up, and she said, I found you a doctor.
Oh, good.
So they have a saying that the Camino provides, and whenever I needed something, I found it.
Did he speak English?
He did not, but another pilgrim spoke Spanish and English.
Okay, you had the
and she
translator.
translated for me.
Were you happy with that service?
Yes.
You felt? Did he give you any medicine or just?
Nope, he just bandaged me up, and you could tell he was used to bandaging up pilgrims' feet.
How
and
about the tummy thing? How do you stop that going?
that didn't happen until that night. So
So you'd already seen him.
I had already seen him.
So you had to
So-
suffer through.
Yeah, I knew it was just something that was going to have to pass through me.
What
and,
caused it? Do you think?
I don't know. I think it was something we were passing around, because I found out later that a lot of people were sick in that town.
Lovely.
So I think they were passing something around.
Did your boyfriend realize what you went through? I mean, the Appalachian Trail is a picnic, I think, compared to this.
No, for my husband. But no, he is well aware. The Appalachian Trail is very
If
serious.
he let you go alone.
Yes.
Did you want to?
Actually, it was interesting how that came up. So originally, the two of us were going to do that last 60 miles together,
Yeah.
and I started thinking about it, and I always get this idea in my head, like I have to do everything. And I asked him,
That
I
was it?
said, should I just hike the entire Camino? And he said, yes, and you should do it alone, because it'll change you.
He said to you, you should do it
He
alone.
said, yes, and you should do it alone.
You're very young, both of you.
I was 34.
Okay, yeah, maybe because I think by the time you hit 40, 50 and beyond, maybe a little more possessive of each other's health. Yeah, I can't see my husband and I are like, yeah, go ahead.
It's a good point. He wasn't protecting his investment, was he?
No. When you came back home, You flew from where? You got on in Spain, right?
We took a train. Well, we toured around Spain after the Camino because he met me for the last section.
Okay, so he was
And
there
we
for
finished together.
Hi, I've been real sick, but how you doing?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
And it was interesting when he joined me because at that point I had already been hiking for a month, so I felt really good and I was ready to go. And then he had to break in his body. And,
Were you eating right? You must have been a skeleton by the time this was the end of this.
I lost a good bit of weight, but it was funny because I was eating. You eat 5 or 6 times a day, like full meals. I had a full-size pizza for at least one of my 5 meals every day.
A whole pizza?
Yes. You eat.
She doesn't look it.
So, well, the average hiker, like long distance hiker, depending on how many miles you hike, can burn between 5,000 and 8,000 calories a day. So you can't possibly eat enough food.
Okay, so when we go around our neighborhood, it ain't going to work.
You know?
Don't eat the whole pizza.
Yeah, that's a little different. But
Would you do it again?
yeah, I am doing it again.
What?
Are
you serious?
I'm going back to do the Portuguese route, the route from Portugal up to Spain next
How
year.
many miles?
That one's a lot shorter. I think that one's only... I'm going to do it in 2 weeks. So
How many miles?
It's only a couple hundred miles.
Oh my God. We are talking with a very delightful guest. I cannot figure her out. I think she's amazing. Theresa Fersch. And you can pick up her book downstairs in the library. Also, she's going to tell you again in a minute how to purchase this book. Sunrise in Spain, Finding the Good Life, Hiking the Camino de Santiago. And that's 500 miles of me would be pure hell. Maybe the first mile or two would be fun. Then I'd say, okay, let's go eat dinner. You know, let's just chill a while. Did you ever chill?
Yes.
Or you just kept going?
It is a life-changing experience.
Yeah.
The time that you spend there, you have so much time to reflect and think about your life. And a lot of people do soul searching. And a lot of people come back and make major changes in their life because they realize a lot about themselves on the trip.
I think that would do it. I think that type of a hike, you are going through a whole lot, to say the least.
Yes.
Now, this is your first book.
Yes.
And you work in engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's your job.
Mm-hmm.
Full time?
Yes.
How did you write this book in the time?
I actually wrote it while I was in Spain. So the thing that's interesting about my book, the thing that people say they like about it, is that it's so raw because I kept a blog while I was in Spain, and I used it to keep in touch with my family and my friends and my colleagues at home. And I thought of it as a personal letter that I wrote to them, so it was very honest and very raw. And when I came back, I found out I had hundreds of readers, and people started pushing me to publish it.
Definitely.
And that's how that came about.
How many, was it pretty, when you appeared, that's how I found out about Theresa, at the Shrewsbury Library, was that pretty well attended?
Yes. So I give talks all over. My talk is about the Camino experience and about hiking, but really the emphasis is on, I try to encourage people to push outside of their comfort zones, to do something amazing for themselves.
Oh, that's really outside my comfort zone.
And it might not necessarily be hiking, but I'm trying to encourage people to do whatever their dream may be. And
you're going to do it again? You're going to go to...
I'm going to do it again. I've had numerous adventures since then. I went out and hiked about 100 miles of the Pacific Crest Trail.
Have you done the Appalachian Trail?
I've done pieces of it.
Bring him with you. Say, hey, you know something, you're not getting out of it that easy. Where do you two live? Where you and your husband?
We live in Hollis, New Hampshire.
Where?
Hollis, New Hampshire.
Hollis. Is that not near Plymouth, is
just
it?
west of Nashua.
Oh, okay.
Right on the Mass border.
All right, so it's not near Plymouth. That's where I went to school. No,
but I've given talks up that way.
Up at the college?
Yeah, I give talk, not at the college, but I've given talks all over New Hampshire.
Yeah, you love the White Mountains. I love the White Mountains. Boy, I'm telling you. I camped up there, did a little walking.
See, if you can hike the Whites, you can hike anything.
Well, I didn't do a lot of hiking. I did a lot of, the Saco River, and it's nice and cold. We were we were not sissy. We did camp on the ground, the tent.
Cowboy camping.
So I went down there, and I did not like the looks and the feel of the community bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
So what I did is I took my little pine tar soap, whatever, went down to the Saco River. It's ice cold. Did my hair. It felt pretty good. My hair, and I did my face. I don't know how much I did of the rest of me, but it was heavy.
Yeah.
I don't like the community bathrooms. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, you get used to it.
I'd rather go, honest to God, I'd rather go in the woods.
The rewards are so much more
private
than anything, than anything that you don't like about the Camino.
Yeah, I mean, you did this. Did you have any idea when you started, Theresa, what you were in for?
No, I had no idea, and that's another thing that I liked about it. But the thing that was amazing was I thought I was just going for the adventure of it, but it turned into a spiritual life-changing, transformative journey.
How did it change you?
Oh, in so many ways. And it's been 3 years since I hiked it, and I'm just now starting to process what that trip meant to me.
Yeah.
But I have so many gifts from it. It's changed my perspective on a lot of things. I realized, one, how important it is to make sure that the people around you are good people and that make you feel good. That dictates the type of experience you're going to have.
You had a couple angels there for you.
I did. And I've also learned, there's this saying, and it would have been cheesy to me before, but now it speaks volumes to me. And the saying is, the only reason it's impossible is because you haven't done it yet. And I have realized that to be so true. And now I don't think of things, I don't think that I can't do things anymore. So I didn't think I could hike 500 miles. I did. I didn't think I could write a book. I did.
You did.
I didn't think I could be a public speaker. I am. And so I have all these examples now, and I realize that it's not a matter of can't. And like I said, people are paralyzed by fear, doubt, and laziness. But if you overcome those things, you really can do anything.
What did your fellow workers think about you?
Oh my God, they were so supportive.
Oh, they were?
Oh my goodness,
Nobody
they were so
gave you a hard
supportive.
time?
No, they were like, go off, have a good time. We'll
How'd you
see you
take
when you get
time
back. I had to take an unpaid sabbatical.
How long was it?
2 months.
you're lucky.
I hiked for 6 weeks,
Yeah.
but I took off 2 months. I needed time to recover afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of time to recover.
Yeah.
But no, they all read my blog. And I was shocked because when I published my book, it was kind of embarrassing. Because when I published my book, I seriously thought my mom was going to be the only person to read it. And then I found out that all of my colleagues read it.
Oh, yeah.
And it is very honest. And so that was a little embarrassing.
Yeah.
But
that's
I've developed so many relationships because of that, because now people feel like they know me.
Did your boss read it?
Yes, they
Good.
all read it. They
Yes.
all read it.
That's important.
Yeah.
It really, really is.
Yeah.
Where are you appearing next, by the way?
I have a talk tomorrow in Stowe, Mass. at the Public Library.
Okay.
I have a talk on June 30th at the Mount Washington Library. I'm also doing a book signing there and a wine tasting all together. And I have numerous other talks. I can't
Have you
remember.
been out yet to Tapnock?
Not yet.
I'll write that down for you.
Okay.
Also, the Book Lover's Gourmet.
Ooh,
You're going to love it. I'm going to write these things down for
thank you. I would love that.
These are tips I can give you to help you. I think you would thoroughly enjoy the ambiance.
Okay.
And they love authors. I've sent many over there.
Okay.
So, also another great place for you. Every July up in Danversport, they have the New England Authors Expo on the Yacht Club Waters.
Oh,
Looks like a
nice.
palace inside. Yeah, you'd love that too. So
I
I'll let
would
you know
love
about
that, yes.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
Yeah, I think you'd love it. I go up there as soon as they know that I do a show. Oh, here's my car. Here's my car.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But there's so many venues of authors up there.
Yep.
So one more time before we close, how do they get a hold of Sunrise in Spain?
So the book is available on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle or in print.
Mm-hmm.
You can also go to my website, teresascamino.com. On that site, you can see access to my book. I have my presentation that I give at libraries and wherever. And I also have a video of tons of pictures and videos from my actual experience that is a great supplement to the book.
I love her cover. Now, what kind of flowers are those?
Those are poppies.
Okay.
That was the
You-
biggest poppy field I've ever seen in my life.
You took it. Picture.
No, a friend of mine. That's me in the picture.
That's you
A
in
friend of mine took it. Yep.
Wasn't it in The Wizard of Oz? The poppies?
It looked like the Wizard of Oz. Yes. And we actually frolicked in them and laid down and took a nap in them, just like they did.
Literally, you just, the
Yes.
bugs got you?
Took down, yep, laid down, took a nap, middle of the day.
This girl is truly amazing. You got to go downstairs, check out the Upton Town Library. The book will be down there, but you can buy it now too. Don't worry about that. She's going to be all over the lot, so probably you'll be in a lot of the local papers saying when. That's how I found her. I said, no, she's coming on the show. You got another book before we close? Got something else coming?
I've been thinking about it, but not yet. A lot of people are pushing me to write a book about what the experience is like coming back from a life-changing experience,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it is a very difficult transition.
Spain, 500-mile hike.
Yeah.
Boy, that's worse than the Marines, isn't it?
I don't know if I'd say worse than.
Oh, but you could go at your own pace, but you'd lose your partners,
Absolutely.
right?
No. You go at your own pace. You always go at your own pace.
But you
and
lose everybody.
You meet all new people every day.
Okay.
All
And
new
when
people
you were
every
sick,
day.
there was someone there for you.
Absolutely.
You can see a doctor.
Absolutely.
That would be very important to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that sounds. And you had some good, clean water.
Yep.
She's amazing. You got to read her book, Sunrise in Spain. Do you have any idea what the title might be of the next one?
No, I don't know.
Okay. All right. So I certainly hope this has got to be a hit. There's beautiful pictures in here. I've never seen this type of thing. Like I haven't. You're going to be on a trip, let me tell you. Thank you, Theresa, for being on the show.
Thank you for having
And
me.
let me know if you write a new one.
I will, absolutely.
And please take care of yourself.
I will.
I'd like to see you make 40.
Oh, yes. I will.
Please.
I'm sure I will.
And get after him to come with you more often.
I might.
Really, yeah. I mean, it's kind
He's
of...
going to come with me in the next Camino next year.
Oh, good.
We're going to go together.
All right. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, I really do.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you next time. I'll be my guest. Hi, Gary.